Okay, this is Bob's Essential Guide for Easy Weight Control. Weight control trick number 3 is controlling fat, right? First, to get started, right, you cannot cut all fat out of your diet. It's impossible. And if you cut like too much fat out of your diet, you might cut out the good fats and not the bad fats. And let me just get something really quick here to show you. Yep, the omega-3 fatty acids. Fatty acid pills. That's these things right here. These fats you cannot live without. Okay, those fats you cannot live without. Now, they're EPA, DHA, whatever. You can get them if cattle eat grass. They will get omega-3 fatty acids in them. If the cattle are kept on farms and given a certain cattle feed, whatever, they won't have the EPA, DHA kind of stuff. So this is disappearing in a lot of foods that ordinarily would have them. So this is why you got to supplement nowadays. Now, EPA, DHA, the omega-3 fatty acids are one of the fats that you need very much. So you cannot live without it. You have to have it, right? Now, you got to think about, like, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? Where the fats are. You got to, first of all, let me cover the types of fat, right? Cut this out of a magazine already. The good kind of fats are monounsaturated fat, lowers LDL cholesterol, and may raise HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol, right? Now, people argue about cholesterol, about what the role of cholesterol is. Some people say it's perfectly normal and that it's not good to take statins to lower cholesterol. First of all, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, dietitian, nutritionist, okay? I'm not considered an expert. So you consult your doctor before you start any diet or exercise program, and you should also do a lot of your own reading and a lot of your own studying on this to make sure, because I might get something wrong, right? So you have to do some of that yourself, some of that self-education kind of stuff, right? So I might be completely, totally wrong. I'm only speaking from my experience and what I believe to be true, but I'm not considered an expert. And results will vary. I cannot guarantee results, so bear this in mind, okay? Now, but I got this out of a magazine, and according to the magazine, monounsaturated fat is good because it lowers LDL cholesterol, bad cholesterol, may raise HDL, which is good cholesterol. Let's see, found in almonds, avocados, canola oil, cashews, olive oil, peanut oil, and peanuts. Now, peanuts also have saturated fat, which is bad. See, it's always going to be a mixed bag. It always is. That's one of the problems. The good fat is always along with the bad fat to some proportion, you know, some degree. So that's why it's impossible to cut out all fat out of your diet, because if you do that, you won't get enough of the good stuff. So fish oil capsules, there are some companies. There's one company that I like called N3 Oceanic, and they make this Rescue 1250, in which they actually refine the fish oil. If you're allergic to fish or something, or you're worried about mercury in the fish, in the water. Now, why mercury? Because we have coal and oil burning power plants, and the smoke from coal and oil burning, that smoke becomes, well, it has a lot of mercury, cadmium, sulfur compounds in it, right? Cadmium, mercury, lead, and all these bad metals are from combustion, and they get washed into the ocean, washed into the sea, and then plankton eat them, right? And then the other fish eat the plankton, and then bigger fish eat the plankton. And so the predatory fish, like the sharks and swordfish and the sharks and the oh, I'm trying to think of that one that's really interesting. It could swim 40 knots. Blue fin tuna. Well, there's yellowfin, there's blue fin, whatever. But tuna, the real tuna fish. I'm not talking about albacore, but the real tuna fish, they're predatory, top of the food chain species. So they get concentrated in them more mercury than anything else. Sharks are very high in mercury. If you ever eaten shark meat's good, but you have to, I mean, it should be tested for mercury, how much mercury is in there, right? Because an old shark will have eaten many, many smaller fish that have, and the mercury builds up in their system, right? Also, shark meat can be very tough and has it's very ammonia tasting. It's very ammonia, so you got to soak the meat and whatever. But anyway, and that's actually very lean meat. Shark meat is actually very lean meat, you know. But because of the mercury problem and because it's tough, a lot of people don't want to eat it. But you could possibly eat it, right? And but you'd have to soak it and marinate it to get the ammonia kind of out of the meat. You'd have to soak it and do that. But basically, that's a good low fat kind of meat. Actually, we should be eating more sharks. You know. Anyway, they eat us. Why not eat them? That's my point of view. I'm sorry, right? Anyway, I always get in arguments on the internet with vegetarians. I always do. Anyway, polyunsaturated fat. This is good too. Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated is good. Now, it lowers LDL and may lower HDL. May low, not necessarily. It includes omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids found in corn oil, cottonseed oil, fish such as salmon and tuna, sunflower oil, sesame seeds, soybeans, and sunflower oil, right? Now, omega-6 has been, I've heard omega-6 is not that good sometimes if you're worried about prostate, right? And that's men over 40, okay, that might have to worry about the prostate thing. Omega-6 probably, I've heard, is not good for the prostate, but omega-3 is fine, right? Now, the bad stuff is saturated fat. Raises both LDL and HDL, found in chocolate, cocoa butter, coconut oil, dairy products, milk, butter, cheese, ice cream, egg yolks, palm oil. You get the idea, right? It's everywhere, right? Saturated fat. But like I said before, you always have a mixture of them, right? It's always some saturated fat along with the monounsaturated, or the polyunsaturated is always like connected with saturated. So no matter what you do, you can't get away from both of them, but you can choose a better balance. Which this is called Smart Balance, right? It's my substitute for butter, because butter has too much saturated fat. These have come out recently. There are a lot of butters out there that are made from olive oil. And they make them from olive oil so that they have a better ratio of the good and bad fat, see? So it has a better balance of them, right? There's a number of different brands that have the same basic idea. And I like Smart Balance the best because it does taste very buttery, and you can cook with it. So you can pretend I just put some on the vegetables here that I roasted and stuff. But that's the idea. You got to go for stuff that provides the best balance of fats, but you'll never get free of all of it, right? Then there's saturated fat is bad. Trans fat is raises LDL and lowers HDL. A type of fat common in many processed foods, such as most margarines, except for the new ones. The new margarines, they really are concerned about that. Vegetable shortening, partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, many commercial fried foods, donuts, French fries, commercial baked goods, cookies, crackers, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of bad trans fats out there. So what is bad is saturated fat and trans fat. Trans fat and saturated fat are bad. Now on the labels, they always have like a listing like of the fat and maybe total fat content, but some of the places will list the kinds of fats too. See? So you want to pay attention to that. You want to read labels. You have to read labels, unfortunately. Good kind of fat is monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. Monounsaturated, polyunsaturated. Good. Good fat, right? Bad fat, saturated fat, trans fats, right? Just remember, just picture in your mind a fat guy driving a Trans Am. Then you know, and just think, hey, the inside of that Trans Am is just saturated, right? So it's the interior of the Trans Am is saturated, right? Anyway, I like Trans Ams. I had that when I was a kid, when I was in my 20s and stuff. And they are cool cars, really great cars. But anyway, I'll probably get sued by Pontiac now. I don't know. Anyway, I hope not. But it's a classic car. It's really a classic car. Anyway, but unfortunately, you sit around too much in a car when you should be out jogging, right? You'll get fat. See, that's one of the problems. Anyway, so remember that. Remember, saturated fat and trans fat are bad. Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated is good. Okay. Now, for breakfast, right? Well, if you think about your sources of fat in your life, the whole idea is that you don't want to give your body an opportunity to get fat, right? You don't want to yo-yo diet. You don't want to all of a sudden gain weight again, right? You don't want to do that. Okay. Now, the first trick is eating a big bowl of rice and vegetables. This is just roasted vegetables here. But you put that in your toaster oven and put it on the high toast setting and put in some garlic powder or some onion flakes, maybe some seasoning salt on it, right? A little bit of pepper, and you roast them in the toaster oven, right? And this is very healthy for you. It'll fill you up. And you can use some of the healthy stuff on it to make it taste good, right? And that's a great little snack. Okay, sometimes I put them in a tortilla and I make like a burrito out of them, right? But anyway, you think about breakfast. Okay, that's probably where you get your most fat during the day. It's milk, right? It's milk. It's butter. It is cheese. Maybe cheese, eggs, right? Eggs have fat in them, unfortunately, but eggs are superfood. They have a lot of good stuff in the egg. So that's kind of like a fat you can't really cut down on. Although some people say, get rid of the yolks and I'll just have the egg whites. Well, the yolk has a lot of the good stuff in it too, so you can't give up on that. So you might as well just eat regular eggs and not worry about the eggs. But you don't need. I always eat like 5 eggs every day. I don't need to do that. I can only, so what I do, blender. And in the blender, I will put some yogurt. And yogurt's great because yogurt's made from what is left over, the whey, the wort or the whey, basically. When they're making butter and milk, they separate the fat out and then they use that to make yogurt. Yogurt has no fat. It's a high quality protein, no fat. I like Chobani and I like their vanilla blended yogurt, and I'll throw a couple of dollops in here, then I'll pour in some milk, then I'll throw in a bunch of fruit into the blender, and I'll throw in 1 egg, right? And I'll make a fruit smoothie for breakfast. Now, I throw it in raw. I eat a raw egg, but it's up to you, right? People are concerned with eggs having bacteria contamination. Okay, so you should cook the egg, right? But you could poach the egg in your microwave if you get one of those microwavable little dishes for eggs and whatever. Poach a little egg, throw the egg in here, right? It doesn't make any difference. A little bit of milk, some fruit, some yogurt, you know, and then I eat that for breakfast. I take a bunch of vitamins and I run off to work. And that's a quick breakfast. It's very easy to produce, to make it in the morning. It doesn't you don't spend a lot of time doing it. You drink it like 2 glasses of this fruit smoothie in the morning with milk and whatever in there, and you're ready to go. And that's a very low fat meal. That's a very low fat breakfast. Okay, and then you can avoid fried eggs and fried bacon. Bacon has a lot of fat. You have to give up bacon. Use lunch meat instead. Lunch meat is lower fat than bacon, right? But then I started poaching eggs instead, making an egg sandwich and eating that instead, rather than fried eggs and fried bacon. See, I'll make like a mixed grill. I'll have green tomatoes that I slice up, throw it into a frying pan. Then I throw in, like, cut up potatoes, and I throw up, maybe if I have some zucchini from the garden, I'll throw in some zucchini in there, fry it up till it's all moist, or all like soft and stuff, throw in onions. Then I'll throw some eggs on top, throw in some hot sauce on it. And that's a very low fat kind of thing to eat in the morning for breakfast. So, you know, explore lower fat stuff for breakfast, right? But you can go, when you go milk, go 1%, go 2%, 1%, go for low fat milk or skim milk. Now, skim milk is blue, has a bluish tint to it, and people don't like the flavor of skim milk. Low fat milk is better because it tastes better and it looks better. Non-fat milk is better than skim, and it's what basically human milk is supposed to be, right? Human milk, or mother's milk, or human milk, whatever, is supposed to be what we're supposed to drink because we're humans. That is very, very low fat. It's like more like goat's milk, which is why people love goat's milk. But goat's milk is expensive, right? So you just go and you get the 1%, right? 1%, 2%, or non-fat milk, right? Skim milk has that kind of bluish tint to it, so you don't have to drink skim milk. Non-fat milk is better. It's better. It tastes better and everything. See, so that, and also let's see, cheese. I don't think you really have to worry about cheese all that much. This is sliced cheese here, and sliced cheese, you shouldn't have to worry about it, because I've heard that cheese is, because it's a solid, because it's solidified, it doesn't really break down, and you don't really absorb the fat in cheese as much as you do other things. Soft cheeses you probably still do, right? But cheese, I think, is probably safe. You shouldn't have to worry about cheese unless it's really soft kind of cheese, and the soft kind of cheese will break down. You absorb it. See? Now, breakfast is a big source of fat. Now, I said before in the other trick, the first weight control trick was fill up on vegetables and rice, starch and vegetables. The second trick was control your blood sugar by switching to the natural forms of sugar rather than the sugar bowl, right? And what I mentioned there was that sugar and fat are connected. You will not burn fat unless you get rid of all the sugar in your bloodstream first, right? So you've got to manage your blood sugar. You can't get it too low, because then you'll get hit with craving, you'll get hungry and you'll binge eat, right? You too high and you will automatically store fat, so you don't want to do that. See? So you want to drink your coffee black, your tea without sugar in it. Have no sugar for breakfast. Do not eat sugar for breakfast. Eat protein, right? Eat starches, okay? But do not eat sugar with that, because the sugar will tell your body to store fat. Lunchtime, for lunchtime, I have right now vegetable soup that I make in my crock pot myself. right? Very thick, rich, hearty vegetable soup. Vegetables and rice, some starch and that kind of stuff for lunch, right? My rice and vegetable thing, I'll fill up on that for lunch. You can have salad. Salad doesn't provide any carbs, so you still feel hungry after you eat salad. That's why I don't recommend salad, right? But you can eat salad, or some people, soup and sandwich. Soup, unfortunately, restaurant soup and canned soup is loaded with fat, unfortunately. When you eat a sandwich with lunch meat, sometimes lunch meat's very high in fat too, so you gotta be careful about how many slices of lunch meat you put on it, and the kind of lunch meat. There's a lot of turkey lunch meat these days, so go ahead and use that instead. For dinner, right? Dinner, you could have a big chef salad and then go right to bed. See, that's the idea, is that dinner is the last meal of the day, right? Right before it's the end of the day and you go to bed, right? You want to burn calories at a time when you will not feel it, you will not notice it. So if you burn calories at night, right, you're not going to notice it. So for counting calories and burning fat, what you want to do is maybe, I need 1,500 calories a day, 1,500, or else I won't lose weight because I have a slow metabolism, right? So for breakfast, I'll have like 600 calories. Lunch, I'll have 500 calories. So that puts me at 1,100 calories. Then for dinner, I will have like a chef salad, and that'll be maybe another 200, 300, 400 calories, something like that, right? It'll get me right in that zone. And then I'll go to bed. And then I will be burning fat at night while I'm asleep. And I won't notice it. I won't be hungry. For breakfast, then I eat the blender breakfast or something like that. You can fill up on oatmeal. Oatmeal is great. Oatmeal is very, very low fat. And then you have yogurt and you have fruit with the oatmeal, and maybe one egg. You throw one egg in with the oatmeal, see? So you get the protein, see? So that's basically how I would do it for calorie counting and burning fat, see? It depends on how many calories you burn per hour, right? So you might allow yourself more, okay? But basically, you want to fill up on starches and grains and stuff, and you want to fill up on fruit, right? Vegetables, grains, fruits, right? So you won't have too much protein. Well, vegetables have protein too, but they're not the balanced kind of protein. Vegetarians are always very overly sensitive people because they don't get the kind of, now, this is why I get in arguments with vegetarians all the time, because they're overly sensitive, because they don't have the right amino acids in their diet to make the right neurotransmitters, DLPA, which is a which creates the neurotransmitter endorphins. And if you don't have enough endorphins, then they're overly sensitive about everything. So people who are overly sensitive, they might be vegetarians. They might be. Anyway, But DLPA is the amino acid that you have to have. And plant protein does not usually have that kind of amino acid in it. See? So it's not completely balanced. Now, if you want to be a vegetarian, you've got to eat lots and lots of quinoa. Quinoa is it looks like quinona, but it's actually pronounced quinoa. Quinoa will provide all those amino acids that you need. Tofu is nice too because it supplies most of everything you need also, but in different amounts. Is tofu low fat? A lot of people think it is. Unfortunately, no. You can be fat from tofu also. Tofu has 30% fat. Okay. Tuna fish, I ran out of my tuna fish cans. This is something else, but tuna fish has 10% fat, right? This has no fat. Yogurt, no fat. See? So, actually, it beats tofu, but these are high quality protein because it breaks down in your system, in your bloodstream. Really good, really easy. A steak, hamburger doesn't break down so well, right? Especially select quality, select grade steak, right? There's prime, which is really expensive. Then there's choice, which most people eat, and then there's select. Select is lower grade beef, right? Some select meat is used in dog food, but usually dogs get the grade below select that's not fit for human consumption. That's why your dog gets sick. So I made my own dog food when my dog was alive, right? I made her dog food, right? I got the low quality meat. I mixed it with some rice and whatever, and I fed it to her, and she loved it. She ate it. You know, she was fine with it. You can make your own dog food, right? And that's what I did. And you just bake it in bulk and put it in a big dish in your refrigerator and spoon some in the dish every day, and your dog won't get sick nearly as much. You know. Anyway, but essentially, dinner, think in terms of baking and broiling rather than frying. You can boil, you can bake, you can boil, you can broil, right? In the broiler, burn it on the one side, right? Broil, bake, or boil. If you fry things, there's going to be that cooking oil kind of problem. It's going to be the fat's going to get on it and whatever. And you want like the George Foreman grill that, you know, the fat comes off and, you know, drips off and everything else. You know, you want to reduce it. I have half the fat hamburgers, which, you know, you take your rice, mix cooked rice with an equal portion of hamburger, and it makes the hamburger nice and juicy with half the fat, and you don't notice it and you don't care. And so you can eat lower fat foods for dinner. You can choose that, right? And also basically, yeah, there's ways of doing it so you can reduce the fat in your cooking. And so you could choose more fish and more chicken and more turkey and more anything that flies or swims, basically, is better than anything that walks around, lumbers around slowly, or lays in the mud, right? Pork, beef, right, is not going to be as good as birds or a fish, because you have to be really in great shape to be a fish or a bird. If you think about it, right, they're always going to be in better shape. So you want animals that live a hardy lifestyle, that, you know, run fast, and always. Deer meat's supposed to be really, really good compared to beef. As buffalo is supposed to be really good also, right? But that's because we haven't bred the buffalo to have more fat. See, we breed cattle to have more fat in them to taste better, and that's one of the problems. We adulterate things, we change things, we manipulate things. See, so you have to. So you consider that for like dinner and stuff, right? Enjoy vegetables. Really start enjoying vegetables. Get into more vegetables, something like that, right? Now let's see, and also tomato paste and things like that, you know, and hot sauce. Hot sauce is great. Throw hot sauce into things. Now, this is Worcestershire sauce and this is soy sauce. Very high in sodium. Usually people have to worry about sodium. I don't have to, but usually people do. So you substitute hot sauces for it. Hot sauce is friendly, it's good for you. You know, hot sauce is great. There's a lot of things you can do with hot sauce. Oil and vinegar salad dressing. It's a better salad dressing, right, than the typical fattening, more fattening salad dressings. Oil and vinegar salad dressing, I buy it in bulk. I throw that in the crock pot where I throw in chicken and to thaw it and whatever, and that provides all the seasoning. It's an easy single guy thing to do, right? And so anyway, oil and vinegar, and it's the olive oil too, and the olive oil is a better form of fat, right? A better balance of fat in it. I actually do a lot of frying with olive oil and do a lot of cooking with olive oil because it's healthier, it's better for you. Okay, so here's now a bunch of other things. Fat and sugar are connected, remember that. Do not eat fat and sugar together, right? Because the sugar tells your body to store the fat. So you don't want to eat the sugar and the fat together, right? The sugar, too much sugar, also will prevent you from burning fat. So you don't want that either. So you want a little bit of sugar in your life, a little bit of sweetness, you know, and just not too much of that, right? Now, protein and fat, that's another thing. Protein and fat almost always goes together. Whatever source of protein you have, fat's going to go along with it. But like tuna fish, 10% fat, right? Yogurt, no fat in it. See, so you gotta think about higher qualities, and high quality protein breaks down in your stomach and you absorb it into your body. If you eat lower quality fat that doesn't break down and you can't absorb it, it passes right through your system, and you'll end up eating more and more protein, more and more meat, because you'll be hungry for protein a lot more. Now the fat always gets absorbed very easily. If you eat tough meat, the fat in the meat, you will absorb it, but the meat you won't absorb. See, so you need high quality protein, you know, in your diet. You got to think in terms of the quality of the protein too. Better quality protein that breaks down, and then you're not going to eat as much opportunity to gain the weight. Now, here's an important thing to notice that I forgot to mention before. I cut out a lot of fat out of my diet originally, and I did not lose 1 pound. And that's because if you eat healthier food, you might eat twice as much healthy food. You know, you will eat twice as much of it, see, if you're eating your healthier, see. So the fat, even if you cut out all the fat out of your diet, you still might want to eat more. And you'll eat much more food to absorb a little bit more fat, right? You can get addicted to fat too, right? But after a while, you kind of get over it, kind of like being addicted to sugar. You can be addicted to fat, but if you cut back on it, it'll take a while, but then you won't miss it anymore, right? And but you can eat twice as much fat, so the sugar is an important thing to consider. Okay. Now, enjoy fruits and veggies, fruits and vegetables and grains a lot more than meat, right? Vegetables here. Put these vegetables in the toaster oven, a little bit garlic pepper on it, some onion flakes, some seasoning salt on it, and I put it on level 7 on my toaster oven, and I burn these, and it tastes sweet. It brings out the sugar out of the vegetables, and this is a great snack that I eat at night when I'm watching TV and drinking beer. I eat that. See, hot sauce. Yep. Okay. Calorie counting and burning fat. I think I covered that. Okay, but basically you get the idea here, right? You've got to make smarter choice. Oh yeah. Okay. I want to mention water and lemon juice. A lot of people say, oh, just drink lots of lemon juice. I did that for years. It didn't seem to do any good for me. You can try it, right? You can try to drink lots of lemon juice. It might work for you. Lemon juice didn't work for me, right? Now, I remember, if you remember, I talked about the grapefruit diet, right? Lemon juice is also complex carbs, okay? And lemon juice also with vinegar, right? Apple cider vinegar and lemon juice, basically complex carbs. You're supposed to kick your liver into this fat burning mode, right? Well, that's anytime you're eating complex carbs, right? So one thing that I will say about water, okay, and it does taste good with lemon juice, okay, so you can put some lemon juice in there, but that's not a magic bullet, and I think that's a myth, actually. But it's not a bad myth. It might work for you, I don't know. But anyway, water is used in every chemical process in your body, right? When you don't, if you were ever in school doing that thing in science class in which you combine oil and vinegar, or baking soda and vinegar together, and you saw the reaction, and then you added more baking soda, added more vinegar to the same liquid, you'll notice it'll have progressively less reactions. That's because the pollutants of the first reaction affected the second one. See, and that's one of the things they teach you in chemistry class, is how added pollutants to the first reactions, reduce the second reactions, right? Progressively less reaction, right? Until you start new. Water cleans out the bad stuff out of your bloodstream. You drink a lot of water, then you run to the bathroom, right? And then your kidneys clean out your blood of all of uric acid and ammonia from metabolizing protein, right? And all that other kind of stuff, right? Water helps you get rid of it, right? So water, it's good to keep yourself hydrated. And I found out that basically, if you're hungry, drink some water, and you might notice you're not hungry. Because when you felt hungry, it's because that maybe you didn't have enough something in your bloodstream enough or whatever. Well, the water goes in your bloodstream, and you have enough blood or whatever, and the reactions work better, something like that. Anyway, the water, you might be a little bit dehydrated, not actually really hungry. See? So you drink the water, and it might prevent you from eating something, fattening. Okay? So yes, water can help you, but drinking gallons of water every day isn't going to cause you to lose weight. I know, I tried it. And over again I tried it. Even adding lemon juice to it, although that doesn't taste bad for bottled water, adding lemon juice and lime. And instead of drinking a soda, you might drink a bottle of water, right? Instead of drinking soda, right? So you're getting fewer calories, fewer sugar in it. And some brands of water actually taste better than others. It's something you don't notice, right? And lemon juice and whatever, drinking that with the bottled water can make it more tasty, and you won't miss the soda as much. See? So bottled water can help you. It's not a magic bullet. It's not a magic cure. It's not going to save you, but it's good to have bottled water in the trunk of your car in case you get stuck in the desert, right? Or in case your radiator has a leak. And then the one time I put a lot of bottled water in my radiator and stuff to keep, to be able to drive home. Bottled water is always good to have around for some reason, right? Something bad happens and there's no running water, whatever, a big flood, earthquake, hurricane, whatever, who knows. Bottled water might be nice to have around for emergencies. And also, you can drink bottled water instead of drinking soda, and you can fill up your stomach and notice that you're not really that hungry, right, if you drink bottled water, right? So, but bottled water is not a magic cure, right? So let's see. So basically, you cut down on the sources of fat, but you might not see it on the scale until you do something with sugar or cut down on other things and start counting calories and cutting down on things. But you got to change your lifestyle to start thinking in terms of more healthier food, okay, and safer food, right? Like roasted vegetables, right? Instead of eating a hamburger or a hot dog, eat a big plate of roasted vegetables. Brussels sprouts. I roast Brussels sprouts. I use oil and vinegar salad dressing on the Brussels sprouts, and basically usually I boil them in a pot until they're soft with some hot sauce. Take a saucepan. I throw Brussels sprouts in the saucepan, put in hot sauce, and I boil them till they're soft. Then I put them in the toaster up. Then I drain off the water. I put some oil and vinegar salad dressing on the Brussels sprouts, some hot pepper on it. I had some black pepper on it, something like that. And then I put them in the pan and I roast them in the toaster oven, and that's one of my snacks, is roasted Brussels sprouts, right? And I took that to a family gathering one year for, I think it was Thanksgiving, and a big plate of roasted Brussels sprouts, and that went fast. Roasted Brussels sprouts and roasted mushrooms. I had mushrooms, I roasted them, and yeah, the actual recipe is complicated, but I cooked them. I made like a mushroom soup, and then I pulled the mushrooms out of the crock pot, and then I roasted them in the toaster oven and put some honey on top and some garlic pepper on it, and served that, in a big bowl on this Thanksgiving, and it went really fast. It was really quick. Everybody ate them up, and it was gone, like within, real fast. And basically it was a big hit. It was a big hit. Roasted mushrooms, roasted Brussels sprouts are great low fat, and you could, for parties, holiday gatherings, something like that. So consider something like that. See, and use your blender a lot more. A lot of, if you're not frying something, or you're not adding a lot of fat, use your blender. Use your blender. Make more blender drinks for, lunch, dinner, or whatever. When you're too busy, throw some vegetable juice, some V8 juice in there. Throw in maybe a can of tuna fish. Throw in a can of tuna fish, some V8 juice, and I don't know, maybe some other vegetables or something in there. And that's lunch. That could be a fast, quick lunch, right? And then maybe you could skip lunch once in a while. Once in a while you want to skip lunch. When you do skip lunch, you either want to do two things. When you're hungry, if you don't want to eat, you got to drink a lot of water. You got to either go to sleep, take a nap, right? Or you've got to exercise, because exercise will suppress your desire to eat. So if you want to lose weight, I tried to do that today, but it was raining. I didn't check the weather report, and I was stuck in a pouring thunderstorm. So I got soaked from head to toe, and I had to come right back. So I only got like 1 mile, of a walk in there and stuff. So sometimes you're stuck indoors and stuff, but you want to burn fat. Eat something vegetarian, right? Without, the fat, the protein in there. Vegetables have some protein, so, maybe you can put a little high quality protein in it, but basically you're filling up on vegetables and stuff, so your stomach's full. Take a nap, go to sleep, so that when you feel hungry, low blood sugar, when you're asleep, you don't mind it. You're not going to suffer. Or you've got to exercise. Either one or the other. So go out, take a walk, go exercise, go work out, and it will suppress your appetite, and you'll get more energy and whatever. So if you're hungry, go exercise, or if you're hungry, go to sleep, go take a nap. Either one or the other. Or you fill up on vegetables. See? You can do that. It can work. Okay? To do that. But generally, you're not going to be able to cut all the fat out of your diet, but you can switch to better quality fat, or better types of fat, and you go better quality protein so you eat less fat, better kinds of fat, right? You choose that instead, and then you reduce the total amount of the fat that you take in every day. And then if you do eat lots more sugar or whatever, your body doesn't have the ability to take advantage of that excess fat in your diet. You cannot gain back that weight. You can't yo-yo diet as quickly. See? So your diet brings it down. Then you want to keep eating low-fat foods, because then your body will pack on the pounds if it has the opportunity. So you're reducing the opportunity. Reducing a lot of fat in your diet may not have any direct effects, but as soon as you start counting calories, as soon as you start cutting back on sugar, boom, then you'll see it. See? So anyway, that's from my experience, what I know about. Okay, and so hopefully these tricks help you. My mouth is watering for this. I have some mushrooms in there. Good stuff. Anyway, hopefully this helped you out. Okay, and I'll put this video up on the net. I'm going to also put on another video about, my basic 3-mile walk, and it's a basic thing, and it's something that I do because, well, I'll talk about exercise later, but you have to have a general all body, full body kind of exercise kind of thing, right? And I'll talk about that then. But yeah, it has to be diet, it has to be exercise, right? but it's got to be a life change, and it's got to be simple so that you can easily adopt it for the rest of your life. And that's what you've got to think about. Okay, good luck.